What happens when life comes to an end? Is it the end of everything we know or the start of something we can't fully grasp? These are questions everyone thinks about at some point, and the idea of what happens next has been explored for centuries. There's one text that's particularly fascinating when it comes to this subject. It's an ancient guide written to help people understand the process of what happens after we pass away. This text, known as the Tibetan Book of the Dead, isn't just about death. It's also a reflection on life and how we live it. This guide takes us through what the mind might experience in the moments after death, showing us how to prepare for it and even use those moments as an opportunity for something greater. It's not about fear, it's about understanding. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, or Bardo Thodol as it's originally called, is a detailed guide that describes what happens after death. But it's not just a text about dying, it's about how life and death are connected. The ideas in this book can change how we think about our everyday lives and the choices we make. The book was written by Padmasambhava, a Buddhist teacher who lived centuries ago. He wasn't just a teacher, he was seen as someone with incredible insight into the nature of the mind and existence. When he brought Buddhism to Tibet, he didn't just teach new ideas, he blended them with the local traditions and beliefs that were already there. Padmasambhava believed that when someone dies, their mind enters a unique state, a state where it's easier to understand reality without the distractions of everyday life. But he also knew that most people, when faced with the unknown, are overwhelmed by fear and confusion. That's why he created this guide. It wasn't just for the dead, it was also for the living, to help people prepare and understand what might come next. Think about it. How often do we actually reflect on the bigger picture? Most of us are so busy with everyday worries that we don't stop to think about what really matters. The Tibetan Book of the Dead challenges us to pause and look at life differently, not with fear but with clarity. This text wasn't created in isolation. It reflects the life, wisdom, and experiences of the man behind it. To understand the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we need to understand Padmasambhava himself and the environment in which this knowledge took shape. Padmasambhava, often referred to as Guru Rinpoche, wasn't just any spiritual teacher. He was someone with extraordinary insight. He lived during a time when Tibet was steeped in shamanic Bon traditions, a spiritual system full of rituals and connections to nature. When he arrived in Tibet in the 8th century, his mission wasn't just to spread Buddhism, it was to unify the teachings of Buddhism with the local practices in a way that would resonate with the people. One of the most fascinating aspects of Padmasambhava's teachings was his perspective on death. While many saw death as an ending, he saw it as a window, a rare chance for the mind to break free from its usual distractions and recognize its true nature. He believed that this moment could be used for liberation, but only if the person was prepared. That's why the Bardo Thodol exists. It wasn't just meant to be read after someone passed. It was created to help people in life so they could understand and navigate the process of death. Padmasambhava's vision was to give people a chance to transcend fear and confusion, even at the most uncertain moment of existence. The Bardo Thodol holds a central place in Tibetan Buddhism because it addresses some of the most profound aspects of human existence. In Tibetan culture, life and death are seen as part of a continuous cycle called samsara. This cycle is shaped by karma, the energy of our actions, thoughts, and intentions. Every moment, every choice contributes to this cycle, influencing not just the life we're living now, but the ones to come. What makes the Bardo Thodol so remarkable is how it presents death, not as an ending, but as a transition. It teaches that in the moments after death, the soul has an incredible opportunity to break free from the cycle of samsara and reach enlightenment. But this isn't guaranteed. Without preparation, the mind can become trapped by its own fears and attachments, pulling it back into the cycle of rebirth. The text isn't just a guide for those who have passed on, it's also deeply relevant to the living. It helps people reflect on their own lives, encouraging them to develop awareness, let go of harmful attachments, and live with more compassion and purpose. Tibetan spiritual practices like meditation and mindfulness often draw directly from the teachings of the Bardo Thodol. helping practitioners prepare for the eventual transition from life to death. In this way, the text serves as both a comfort and a challenge. It reassures us that death is not the end, but it also asks us to take responsibility for how we live. By understanding the nature of the mind and the illusions we cling to, the teachings offer a path to freedom, not just after death, but in this life as well. At the heart of the Tibetan Book of the Dead is the understanding that death is not a single event, but a process, a series of stages the soul passes through. These stages, or bardos, are like chapters in the story of what happens after the body ceases to function. Each one offers its own challenges and opportunities, and how the soul navigates them determines what happens next. The first stage, known as the Chikai Bardo, begins the moment life ends. This is when the physical body starts to dissolve and consciousness is freed from its earthly limitations. In this stage, the soul encounters the clear light, described as an immense, brilliant light that feels both overwhelming and infinite. This light isn't something external, it's the pure essence of the mind, stripped of all illusions. It's a moment of incredible clarity where the soul has the chance to recognize its true nature. If this recognition happens, it leads to instant liberation, often referred to as nirvana. In this state, there is no fear, no attachment, and no suffering, just a deep sense of peace and unity. But for many, this light can feel too intense. Instead of seeing it as a part of themselves, they may perceive it as something threatening or unfamiliar. Fear or attachment to the life they've just left behind can cause the soul to turn away, losing the chance for liberation. This is why preparation during life is so important. The Chikai Bardo shows us the profound potential that exists at the very moment of death, a chance to break free from the cycle of rebirth and step into something greater. However, for those unprepared, this stage is only the beginning of the journey. What's fascinating about the Chikai Bardo is how closely its descriptions align with modern accounts of near-death experiences. Many people who've come close to death report seeing an overwhelming light, something bright, pure, and comforting. They often describe it as a moment of profound clarity, as if time and space no longer exist. Interestingly, scientists studying the dying brain have observed phenomena that might explain this experience. In the moments before death, the brain releases a surge of activity, creating vivid, almost dreamlike sensations. Some researchers suggest that this could explain why so many people describe seeing a brilliant light or feeling an intense sense of peace at the brink of death. But while science focuses on the physical processes, the Tibetan Book of the Dead offers a deeper, spiritual interpretation. It teaches that this light isn't just a chemical reaction, it's the essence of our true self, a glimpse into something far beyond the physical world. But not all souls can recognize the light. For those unprepared, the journey continues into the next stage. After the clear light fades, the soul enters the Chonyid Bardo. This stage is often described as a state where the mind begins to reveal itself in its purest form, free from the physical body. Here, the soul is confronted with vivid visions, some peaceful and serene, others terrifying and chaotic. These visions aren't external forces or beings, they are projections of the mind itself, shaped by a lifetime of thoughts, emotions, and karma. Peaceful visions might appear as radiant deities, embodying qualities like compassion, wisdom, or love. On the other hand, wrathful visions can take on the form of frightening entities, representing anger, fear, or repressed desires. Carl Jung, a psychologist known for his work on the unconscious mind, offered a helpful way to understand these experiences. He spoke about archetypes, universal symbols and patterns that exist in our subconscious. According to Jung, the peaceful and wrathful figures seen in the Chonyid Bardo can be understood as archetypes. They represent the deeper parts of ourselves, the parts we often ignore or suppress in daily life. In this stage, the mind is stripped of all distractions, leaving only its raw essence. This is why these visions feel so intense and real. They reflect everything the soul has carried, fears, desires, and unresolved conflicts. Tibetan Buddhism teaches that recognizing these visions as mere projections of the mind is key to moving forward. It's not about battling the figures or running away from them, it's about seeing them for what they are, temporary manifestations of our inner world. For those who can maintain awareness during the Chonyid Bardo, This stage offers another chance at liberation. By understanding the nature of these visions, the soul can break free from its attachments and illusions, moving closer to enlightenment. However, for many, these projections are too overwhelming and the mind clings to familiar patterns, pulling the soul into the next stage of the bardos. What's particularly striking is how closely the teachings of the Chonyid Bardo align with modern psychology and mindfulness practices. In therapy, for example, people are often encouraged to face their emotions, whether it's fear, anger, or sadness, instead of avoiding them. This mirrors the idea in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, that these visions, whether peaceful or wrathful, are not enemies to be feared but reflections of our own mind. Mindfulness practices also teach us to observe our thoughts and feelings without attaching to them. This approach helps us understand that emotions are temporary and don't define who we are. Similarly, the Chonyid Bardo teaches that recognizing these mental projections as fleeting illusions is key to liberation. Meditation, another cornerstone of mindfulness, plays a significant role in preparing for this stage. Regular meditation helps practitioners develop the ability to remain calm and aware, even in the face of overwhelming emotions or thoughts. This mental clarity is essential for navigating the Chonyid Bardo. Those who've practiced observing their inner world during life are better equipped to face their mind's projections after death. As the soul struggles to understand these visions, another stage begins to take shape. In the final stage, known as the Sidpa Bardo, the soul begins to move toward rebirth. At this point, karmic tendencies, the patterns shaped by all past actions, thoughts, and desires, take center stage. These tendencies act like a magnet, pulling the soul toward its next existence. This stage is often described as a state of heightened emotional intensity. The soul is no longer just observing. It feels a strong pull toward a new body and a new life. Visions of couples in union appear, symbolizing the process of conception and the creation of a new physical form. These images aren't random. They are directly tied to the soul's unresolved emotions and attachments. For example, if a soul carries unresolved anger, fear, or desire, it might be drawn toward a life that mirrors these feelings. The karmic energy shapes the circumstances of the next birth, influencing everything from the environment the soul is born into to the challenges it will face. This is why Tibetan Buddhism emphasizes the importance of mindfulness and ethical living. Our choices today directly affect the conditions of our future lives. While the pull toward rebirth can feel overwhelming, the Sidpa Bardo also offers one final chance for transcendence. For those who can maintain awareness and detachment, it's possible to recognize these visions as projections of the mind, just like in the previous stages. With this awareness, the soul can resist the pull of karmic tendencies and instead merge with the clear light, achieving liberation from the cycle of samsara. But for most, the pull is too strong and the process of rebirth begins, a new chapter shaped by the echoes of the past. In Buddhism, rebirth isn't seen as a punishment or a simple restart. It's considered an opportunity for growth. Each life offers the chance to learn, face unresolved challenges, and move closer to enlightenment. This perspective shifts the focus from fear to possibility, emphasizing that the circumstances of each rebirth are a reflection of what the soul needs to evolve. Mindfulness during life plays a key role in shaping this journey. Practicing awareness helps us understand our desires and attachments, making it easier to let go of harmful patterns. This doesn't just prepare the mind for death, it also influences how we live, how we treat others, and how we face challenges. Every mindful action leaves an imprint that shapes the energy carried into the next life. This connects deeply with contemporary ideas of legacy. The energy we leave behind doesn't just influence our personal karmic path, it affects those around us. Our actions ripple outward, shaping the lives of others and the world we leave behind. Whether through kindness, creativity, or wisdom, the legacy we create in this life becomes part of the larger cycle of existence. But even in this final stage, there remains one last chance for transcendence. The teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead offer more than guidance for the afterlife. They can reshape how we approach life itself. Reflecting on death might feel unsettling, but it's one of the most powerful ways to appreciate the present moment. When we acknowledge that life is finite, the things that truly matter, relationships, kindness, and purpose, become clearer. Mindfulness and meditation are practical ways to connect with these teachings in our daily lives. These practices encourage us to observe our thoughts and emotions without clinging to them, helping us detach from fears and desires that can hold us back. This isn't about avoiding emotions, but understanding them, which creates space for clarity and balance. Meditation, in particular, strengthens the ability to stay present and grounded, which is essential not just for navigating life's challenges, but also for facing the unknown. Detachment is another concept from the Bardo Thodol that resonates with modern life. Detachment doesn't mean indifference. It's about letting go of unhealthy attachments to outcomes, possessions, or even identities. By practicing this, we can reduce stress and make choices based on values rather than fear or craving. In a world filled with constant distractions, these lessons feel more relevant than ever. Science offers fascinating parallels to these ancient teachings. Research in neuroscience shows how fear and attachment are rooted in specific areas of the brain, like the amygdala. These responses are designed to protect us, but they can also create patterns that lead to anxiety and stress. Practices like mindfulness are now proven to help regulate these reactions, promoting emotional resilience, a concept strikingly similar to spiritual enlightenment. Psychology also aligns with the Bardo Thodol's themes. Emotional resilience, often described as the ability to adapt and recover from difficulties, mirrors the text's focus on facing internal projections without fear. Both paths emphasize the importance of self-awareness and a willingness to confront the truths of our inner world. The Bardo Thodol isn't just about preparing for the moment of death. It's a reminder that understanding life, letting go of what doesn't serve us, and embracing the present moment are the keys to truly living fully. When all is said and done, there's one question that cuts through everything else. How much did you love? This profound idea, shared by Ram Dass, points to what truly matters, not the achievements, possessions, or titles we accumulate, but the love we give and receive. The Tibetan Book of the Dead may focus on what happens after life ends, but at its core, it's also about how we live. Love, in this sense, isn't limited to romantic connections. It's about compassion, kindness, and how we show up for others. Are we patient with people who frustrate us? Do we offer help when it's needed? Do we listen, truly listen, when someone shares their struggles? These simple acts of love create ripples far beyond what we can see. They shape the legacy we leave behind, the energy that remains when we're gone. If we reflect honestly, are we living in a way that prepares us for the ultimate transition? Are we focusing on what truly matters, or are we caught up in the noise of life, chasing things that won't matter in the end? The Tibetan Book of the Dead challenges us to think about these questions. It's not about being perfect, it's about being aware. Every choice we make, every act of love, adds up to the kind of life we're living and the energy we'll carry forward. The Tibetan Book of the Dead isn't just a guide for the afterlife, it's a manual for living with awareness and purpose. Its teachings remind us to recognize the light within ourselves and to see through the illusions we cling to. Whether it's fear, attachment, or pride, these are the barriers that hold us back both in life and beyond. As we've seen, the text speaks to the universality of human experiences, our fears, our hopes, and our search for meaning. It bridges the gap between ancient wisdom and modern understanding, offering lessons that are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. So, what do you think happens when we die? Does the soul move on? Or is there something even more profound waiting beyond our current understanding? Share your thoughts in the comments, because these are questions worth discussing. And if these ideas resonated with you, consider sharing this video with someone who might find it meaningful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to join us as we continue to explore the big questions about life, death, and everything in between. Thank you for watching and for taking the time to reflect on these timeless teachings. Together we can keep asking questions, seeking meaning, and living with more purpose and compassion.